I got,
25 minutes to
that's
get here.
the same here. I got stuck too. I haven't been here very long.
Stand.
Will you call the roll?
Kathy Griffith. Here. Jason Blair. Glenn Lewis. Louis Williams.
Here.
Adam Webb.
Here.
Melissa Hunt.
Here. Will you join me for the Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right. Item C is a proclamation. Whereas the Moore Norman Technology Center was incorporated in 1972 to strengthen Oklahoma's workforce by providing innovative career and technical training to high school and adult students and customized training for businesses in Moore, Norman, and South Oklahoma City. And whereas Moore Norman Technology Center is viewed as one of the nation's premier educational and training institutions, Moore Norman Technology Center is one of 29 technology centers within Oklahoma's globally recognized career tech system. And whereas Moore Norman Technology Center plays a pivotal role in bolstering Oklahoma's workforce, fostering economic progress, and cultivating a pipeline of highly skilled workers who are ready to fill high-wage and in-demand jobs. And whereas Moore Norman Technology Center provides pathways as rewarding high-wage, in-demand careers in such areas of the industry as aerospace and transportation, construction trades, healthcare, business information, technology, STEM, and public safety. And whereas Moore Norman Technology prepares high school students and adults for success in career or college through transformative academic and technical training, leadership opportunities, and workforce readiness skills. And whereas Moore Norman Technology Center offers short-term classes for professional growth and personal enrichment. And whereas Moore Norman Technology Center responds to industry needs through customized workforce training and business development services. And whereas Moore Norman Technology Center collaborates with community partners to foster local economic development, and whereas Moore Norman Technology Center partners with public schools, public safety entities, hospitals, and other industry leaders to launch innovative training programs readying students for in-demand, high-wage careers and fulfilling critical workforce needs. And whereas Moore Norman Technology Center is continuing a vision of progress and growth established a half-century ago with an eye to fulfill opportunities for community workforce, and whereas Moore Norman Technology Center is striving to be the first choice for workforce development and training, committed to providing an outstanding educational experience for every student and client. Whereas for 50 years, Moore Norman Technology Center has been preparing for success, changing lives, and building better tomorrows. Therefore, on behalf of Glenn Lewis, Mayor of the City of Moore, do hereby join our residents in celebrating our city's proud partnership with the Moore Norman Technology Center upon its 50th anniversary, and do further hereby thank Moore Norman Technology Center for the impact they make in our community that is strengthening Oklahoma's workforce, promoting economic development, and preparing students for success in college or career. This 4th day of December 2023. Someone want to? Perfect. Come up and accept. And if you'd like to say a few words, you're welcome to as well. You want us to pretend? You want us to pose?
Congratulations. Happy anniversary.
Thank you.
How are you? Good to see you.
Well, I'll just say thank you to the council for this. It's our privilege to serve the community of Moore, and we have some amazing students that come to our school from your communities, and the partnerships that we have with Moore Police Department on our Basic Peace Officer Certification Program are a benchmark around the country. So we appreciate all that you guys do to support us and to support this community. I would also like to recognize this young man right here for 30 years of service on the Moore Norman Technology Center's board, and we've convinced him to run again. So,
Great.
Dr. Max Vinard.
Well, Thank you. Thank you. Thank you for this honor of being here. I can't believe it. It's 50 years, and I just can't believe Moore Norman's 50 years old because, you know, this is the old Nail House residence right here in this spot when I went to Moore High School. And if you go back over to the Quonset huts over there, we had auto mechanics, we had cosmetology, we had carpentry, and we had welding. Mitch, what else did we have back in those days? Since you were there. Ag there also. Yeah, so it was all there. That was the Moore Norman of the 60s, and so here we are today. So it is really hard to believe. It's hard to believe I'm here. So thank you all very much for this recognition, and I would say that with our leadership today, we have the best leaders for Moore Norman in the future. The things that are going on now are just unbelievable. So stay in touch with us, watch us, and you'll see how we're growing and what's new. And again, we're trying to do our part to lead our way for our patrons and our students. And it's just been a really good ride. So thank you all again. Very good.
Thank you.
Thank you for all you do. The career techs are a very important part of the workforce development here in Oklahoma. Item 2 is a consent doc. Item A, approve the minutes of the regular city council meeting held November 20th, 2023. Item B, approve the minutes of the special city council meeting held November 9th, 2023. Item C, receive the minutes of the regular planning commission meeting held October 10th, 2023. And item D, approve and ratify claims and expenditures for fiscal year 2023-2024 in the amount of $2,981,554.38.
Motion to approve.
Second.
A motion and a second. Will you call the vote?
Kathy Griffith? Yes. Louis Williams?
Yes.
Adam Webb?
Yes.
Melissa Hunt?
Yes. Item carries. Item 3, consider acceptance of the city's financial audit for fiscal year ended June 30th, 2023.
Vice Mayor and Council, Bob Dillon is here to present the annual audit.
Thank you, Brooks and the mayor. We recently completed the June 30, 2023 audit of the city of Moore and issued an unmodified opinion, which indicates that the financial statements don't have any material misstatements. We also issued a report on the single audit, which covers your federal expenditures. You had about $8.2 million in federal expenditures, which included ARPA stimulus funds of about $4.8 million, FEMA funds of about $2.4 million. We didn't have any findings or question costs related to the federal programs. The back section of the audit report, if you've had time to look at it, includes a lot of statistical, historical numbers for the last 10 years. It shows your revenues and expenditures by function, and you have grown significantly over the last 10 years. Earlier, we also completed the city's millage calculation of the property tax. The millage rate has been flat over the last several years. The millage rate for the city was 15.45 mils. Also important is your collection rate on property tax. And historically, the city's collected very close to 100% of the assessments on property tax. I think this year it was around 99%. The debt service on your revenue notes has a requirement that you have revenues that cover 125% of the debt service. And last year, your actual revenues covered almost 5 times the debt service, which is healthy coverage. Any excess sales tax after the pledge was returned to the general fund. Your sales and use tax increased by about 4% last year. Your total was about $53 million in sales and use tax. It indicates the addition of new retail stores and strong sales within the city limits. In the general fund, you had a fund balance of about $23 million. It included a carryover to this current budget year of about $17 million, or about 30% of your revenues for the year. That's pretty healthy coverage for a city this size. You also have established a reserve fund for unforeseen emergencies, and your total is about $4.5 million in your reserve fund at this point. Your long-term debt decreased by about $4 million over the year, net of any additions. Can I answer any questions that you might have related to the audit, or?
Looks good.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you very much. Make a motion, we accept the audit, or?
Second?
We have a motion and a second. Will you call the vote?
Louis Williams,
Yes.
Adam Webb,
Yes.
Kathy
Thank you.
Griffith,
Yes.
Melissa Hunt.
Yes. Item 4, consider rezoning application number 1034 located in the southwest quarter of Section 14, Township 10 North, Range 3 West, being south of Northwest 5th Street and west of I-35 from C5 Automotive and Commercial Recreational District to C5 PUD Automotive and Commercial Recreation District Planned Unit Development, and approve number ordinance 1923, application by High Flyer Holdings Incorporated. The Planning Commission recommended approval 7-0, and this is in Ward 3.
Vice Mayor and Council, this site is located south of Northwest 5th Street and west of the I-35 Service Road. The property is currently zoned C5 and is vacant. The applicant is proposing to develop a commercial lease space for uses that are more intense than those that are allowed under the C5 zoning district by right. To achieve the desired development, the applicant is requesting a rezoning to C5 as a planned unit development. Public water and sewer are available to serve the site. For fire protection, the water line must be upgraded to an 8-inch and extended east through this site, and the public sewer is available along South Telephone Road and must be extended east to the site. This property is under 1 acre in size, and stormwater detention is not required, and there is no FEMA floodplain located on the site. Access is provided by the I-35 Service Road. The applicant is proposing a cross-access parking agreement with the adjacent commercial lot to the west that he also owns, with access between the two lots. This cross-access will also serve as a fire access. The applicant is utilizing a PUD to expand upon the allowable uses in the C5 zoning district while providing protections to preserve the commercial integrity of the I-35 corridor. By utilizing a PUD, the city may relax certain requirements in exchange for amenities that would not otherwise be required. This PUD proposal includes the following amenities. A minimum of 80% masonry facade is required. There is a required landscaping amount that shall exceed city code by 15%. No outdoor storage or display shall be allowed at any time on the property, and all dumpsters must be located behind the front building line with a fence or masonry wall enclosure to screen the dumpster from I-35. This application does provide protections for adjacent businesses against unsightly outdoor storage and display, and it does allow the developer some increased latitude into the types of businesses that would be allowed. Just to give you a really brief overview as to the types of uses that the PUD design statement includes, and this is not an all-inclusive list, but automotive sales and rentals with no outdoor storage or display, automotive and equipment storage but indoor only, and then custom manufacturing, wholesaling, other light industrial uses, but again, everything must be conducted indoors with no outdoor storage or display. The Envision More 2040 plan calls for this location to be transitional commerce. Typical uses in this land use category include heavy commercial, light industrial, and some supporting office uses. This application was reviewed as to its conformance with the comprehensive plan, and This application does seek heavier land uses than what is typically allowed in the C5 zoning, but it does offer aesthetic amenities to offset these heavier uses. Staff believes that application is in compliance with the comprehensive plan, and an amendment to the plan is not necessary. Because a PUD application prohibits outdoor storage and display while increasing the aesthetic requirements, staff recommends approval of this application contingent upon all the overhead doors visible from I-35 being glass or decorative in nature, and a professional landscape plan would be required at the building permit stage with an automatic sprinkler system required for all landscaping. If you have any questions, I'd be happy to answer them.
Make a motion to approve.
Second.
A motion and second. Any other discussion, any questions? All right, will you call the vote?
Adam Webb,
Yes.
Kathy Griffith,
Yes.
Louis Williams,
Yes.
Melissa Hunt.
Yes, motion carries. Item 5, consider rezoning application number 1040, located in the southeast quarter of Section 11, Township 10 North, Range 3 West, being south of Northeast 27th Street and west of Eastern Avenue, from A2 Suburban Agricultural District to R2 PUD 2 Family Dwelling District as a planned unit development, and approve ordinance number 2523, application by J&R Partners, LLC, David Box. The Planning Commission recommended approval 7-0, and this is in Ward 2.
Vice Mayor and Council, this site is located south of the northeast 27th Street and west of Eastern Avenue. The property is currently zoned A2 Suburban Agricultural District and is vacant. The applicant is proposing to develop the property with 10 duplexes and 1 single-family detached home, or 21 living units. To achieve the desired density, the applicant is requesting to rezone the property to a PUD to provide amenities to offset the increased densities. The public water must be extended to serve the site. Public sewer is available to serve the site located on the east and north boundary of the site. Because this property is over 1 acre in size, stormwater detention is required. There is no FEMA floodplain located on this site. Access is provided by Northeastern Avenue with 1 driveway. The applicant is proposing a PUD to achieve the desired densities while providing protections to adjacent residents and appropriate open space amenities. The PUD proposal includes the following amenities. A minimum of 70% masonry facade is required. 42 trees and 21 shrubs required and shall be served with an automatic sprinkler system. A 500 square foot pergola with 2 picnic tables, and a playground for the residents' use. The Envision More 2040 plan calls for this location to be urban residential, which includes a mix of attached and detached living units, up to seven dwelling units per acre. Patio homes and duplexes should be located within 1/4 mile to a neighborhood commercial or community commercial land use. This application was reviewed as to its conformance with the plan. Because the site is located near a planned commercial node at 27th and Eastern, and the densities are under 7 units per acre, and with the planned amenities provided, staff believes that this application is in compliance with the comprehensive plan, and an amendment is not necessary. Staff recommends approval of this application. If you have any questions, I'd be happy to answer them.
So, HOA?
Yes, this would be under one ownership, and so the property owner would have
So it
control.
maintain all the
Yes.
common ground? Okay. Yeah, fires looked at it,
Yes.
1 ingress, 1 egress, okay. I make a motion, we approve.
Second.
A motion and a second. Will you call the vote?
Kathy Griffith,
Yes.
Louis Williams,
Yes.
Adam Webb,
Yes.
Melissa Hunt.
Yes. Item carries. Item 6, consider rezoning application number 1041, located in the southwest quarter of Section 28, Township 10 North, Range 2 West, being north of Southeast 34th Street and east of Sooner Road, from A1 Rural Agricultural District to an A2 PUD Suburban Agricultural District as a planned unit development, and approve ordinance number 2623, application by Charles and Catherine Smith. Planning Commission recommended approval 5-1. This is in Ward 1.
Vice Mayor and Council, this site is located north of Southeast 34th Street and east of Sooner Road. The property is currently zoned A1 Rural Agriculture District with an existing metal building and a metal pole barn on the site. The applicant is proposing to develop the west 300-foot of the site as a fossil and mineral preparation showroom and sales business, and the east 3 acres as a home site for one single-family home. To achieve the desired development, the applicant is requesting a rezoning to A2 as a planned unit development. Currently, there is no public water or sewer available to serve the site. A 12-inch public water line is located south of the site at the Twin Lakes Addition entrance, and it must be extended to serve the site. Public sewer is not available in the area, and due to the development of the Southeast Regional Lift Station at Indian Hills and Sunny Lane, gravity sewer is not anticipated to be available to this site in the future. The applicant is proposing to utilize a private septic system. This property is over 1 acre in size, and stormwater detention is required for any new development, and there is no FEMA floodplain located on the site. Access is provided by Sooner Road with one existing driveway. Access to the residential site is proposed from a gravel drive from the existing business parking lot. The applicant is utilizing a planned unit development to allow a fossil and mineral preparation showroom and sales office in the A2 Suburban Agricultural District, while providing protections to preserve the rural nature of the area. By utilizing a PUD, the city can relax certain requirements in exchange for amenities that would not otherwise be required. This PUD does include the following amenities. 100% EIFS facade is being proposed along the west side of the existing building. I should note that that was originally a 25%, but at the Planning Commission, the applicant did agree to extend that to 100% of the west facade. 15 trees required for the commercial tract, 10 of which to be evergreen to serve as a buffer to the residential homes to the south, and an irrigation system is required. And site-proof fencing is required for the trailer bullpen that is shown on the site plan. The Envision More 2040 plan calls for this location to be open space residential, which is typically reserved for large lot single-family homes and their associated secondary uses. This application was reviewed as to its conformance with the intent of the plan. This application does seek to place a commercial land use with agricultural attributes in an area of rural residential homes and neighborhoods, but it is located along a state highway, which is Sooner Road. Although the plan does not typically support commercial uses within the open space residential land use category, the agricultural nature of this proposed business may be considered compatible with the surrounding development by way of the planned unit development. If City Council determines that this proposed development is rural in nature, then the application is in compliance with the comprehensive plan and amendment is not necessary. This subject site is located in a rural area along the state highway. With limited city utilities available, full urbanization of this area is not likely to happen in the foreseeable future. This application seeks to take advantage of Sooner Road for a commercial business, while greatly limiting the scope and nature of the business to fossil preparation, sales, and display only. If the City Council determines that the proposed development maintains the rural nature of the area and that the amenities provided are sufficient to protect the surrounding residential properties, staff recommends approval of this application. At the Planning Commission meeting, there were several residents at the meeting who spoke in opposition of this application. In general, their concerns were about light trespass, increased noise, increased traffic, and the aesthetics of the property. In response to that, the applicant did say that all activities would take place indoors. There would be nothing taking place outdoors as far as the preparation of the fossils or the minerals, and that the aesthetics were to be increased from the 25% originally proposed to the 100% of an EIFS covering on the west side of the metal building. A protest letter was received and forwarded to you via email. I do have one clarification. The letter did talk about spot zoning, and I need to just state for the record that I do not agree that this application is a spot zoning. However, the council may decide to deny this application for other reasons, but in my opinion, spot zoning would not be one of them. If you have any questions, I would be happy to answer them, and the applicant is here if you have any questions of him.
I need to understand the side road and the lot behind it. Is that going to be just done for general consumption, or is the owner planning to use that?
Yes, the proposal is that the owner would build his primary house in the rear of the commercial lot. So
And this PUD only affects the commercial lot?
the PUD will encompass the entire lot.
Okay.
So the back 3 acres would be reserved for the residential home
Okay.
only, and the west 300 feet would be for the commercial business only.
So more than likely, looking into the future, these two lots can't ever be separated.
They could possibly be separated. The zoning would stay the same. They would still stay a PUD.
Okay.
They would have to provide a access easement to access the property
Without
to the
having to go
east.
through the property, the business property?
Correct.
Okay.
Yeah.
And if the property were sold, this type of business, is that the only thing under this PUD that could operate in that business?
Yes, so this PUD is very specific, and that was done on purpose, partly to protect the neighbors around it, and also because of the limited sewer constrictions that we have there. So the only business that could ever go in there would be a fossil and mineral sales, preparation, and showroom.
And so looking at the map, there's already a business there that's operating today? Is that true?
Well, so the history on that is that it has always been zoned agriculture. The previous owner had applied for a building permit to build an agricultural building, which there are no aesthetic requirements on agricultural buildings, and it can be as big as you want. He did provide us a letter stating that his intent was to use this for his own personal use. However, we have been notified that after this building was constructed, it did turn into a transmission shop. But since that time, the applicant, or the original property owner, has sold it to the applicant in today. So maybe the best way to answer that is that there was no legal business operating on the property.
Okay. All right,
Do you guys want to hear from the
yeah,
applicant? Or do you-
please.
The applicant come up, and when you come up, could you state your name and address for the record, please?
Hello, my name is Charles Smith. My address is 6400 Southeast 149th, Oklahoma City.
Perfect. Can you tell us a little bit about the business and what you plan to do?
So as was mentioned before, we've got a building that very much looks commercial, but it's currently not, and we're wanting to utilize that as a showroom for fossils and minerals. I've been an avid collector for over 20 years. I go around the country and quarry fossils, and we have a prep lab, we prep fossils, and so this is, I actually live right around the corner from this property, so when we saw this come up for sale, it was like, oh wow, that would be perfect. And so it's kind of been a dream is to get this thing going, and it really, as came up in the last meeting, most of the opposition was because they hate what it looks like now. They hate that it looks like a big commercial property right now with big metal buildings, and we've made all the preparations to alleviate that through the amenity plans. So as far as the business goes, it's basically, frankly, I've got huge inventory, and if you know anything about fossils and minerals, like we're going, Lord willing, to be a premier place in the state. Probably the largest that you would see. If you come in and see our showroom, it's pretty impressive, or will be pretty impressive. So,
Any other questions?
I don't have any. It'll be an interesting addition to the city.
hoping so.
Yep.
Is there
We-
anyone-
Yes, we
anyone
have
else?
someone signed up to speak. Diane Milam, if you'd come up and state your name and address for the record, and then you have 5 minutes.
My name's Diane Milam. My address is 4500 Texoma Place. Moore. So I understand that he's going to expand that building. How far back does he intend to expand it, and how much of that 300?
80 feet.
80 feet?
Yeah, from the back of the building that's there.
Okay, will he be expanding it into that 3 acres that his home is going to be on?
No.
Okay, and can he request to make that 300 acres commercial further back at any time? Because at some point, my concern is if we make a commercial spot in the middle of this residential, and it's residential literally all the way around and across the street. I mean, I know that Sooner is a state highway, but literally across, and every piece of land in all directions is residential. Are we going to soon grow a commercial zone in the middle of a residential area? I mean, do you want that in your backyard? And I respect his wishes. I mean, I think it's an awesome business, but I'm not entirely certain that it should be in someone's neighborhood for a commercial business. And that's my concern.
Sure, absolutely.
But thank you.
Thank you so much. Is there anybody else here that would like to speak? Any other questions of Elizabeth or the applicant?
So, to answer her question, the way the PUD is written, and it encompasses the whole lot, then the front end of that business could expand to the back, and he would not have to come up here?
That is not correct. So
Okay.
the PUD specifically states that only the west 300 feet
Okay,
can be used for commercial purposes.
okay,
The remainder of the property must be used for one single-family house.
okay.
Now, anyone can come in and request,
Absolutely.
Right, they
Yeah.
could ask to rezone.
Rezoning
Right.
process.
No
but-
different than this process we're
Correct.
doing right now.
so I can't guarantee that the neighbors won't get another notice at some time in the
Yeah.
future, but it would go through the same public comment and consideration process.
Okay.
I think it protects the homeowners around there because this is such a specific PUD. And then we've had concessions on the applicant of added greenery and the bricking. And so, and there won't be any commercial infringing further back. And I don't know that this would be I don't think this would be a massive traffic volume business like the Sonic down the road or a few other places in the general area that's coming in, like Tinker and things like that, the credit union. So it seems like a pretty safe change with the PUD in place.
Anyone want to make a motion?
I'll make a motion to approve.
Second?
I have a motion and a second. Will you call the vote?
Louis Williams,
Yes.
Adam Webb,
Yes.
Kathy Griffith,
Yes.
Melissa Hunt.
Yes. Motion carries. Item 7, consider rezoning application number 1039, located in the northeast quarter of Section 26, Township 10 North, Range 3 West, being south of Southwest 19th Street and west of Eastern Avenue, from I-2 Medium Industrial District to I-2 PUD Medium Industrial District as a planned unit development, and approve ordinance number 2423. Application by Mitchell Davidson, Planning Commission recommended approval 7-0. This is in Ward 3.
Vice Mayor and Council, this site is located south of Southeast 19th Street and west of Eastern Avenue. The property is zoned I-2 Medium Industrial District, is currently vacant, and the applicant is proposing to develop a mini storage to operate on a private septic system. And to achieve this development, the applicant is requesting a rezoning to I-2 as a planned unit development, or PUD. The public water is available to serve this site, and there is currently no public sewer available to the site. They do have, the closest connection to public sewer is along Southeast 19th Street, but with the elevation being only 3 feet higher than this subject property, there would not be a positive slope for public sewer extension. So the applicant is proposing to install a septic system in accordance with ODEQ standards. Because this property is over an acre in size, stormwater detention is required for the site. There is no FEMA floodplain located on the property. Access is provided by Southeastern Avenue with one driveway being proposed. There is a current driveway across the southwest corner of the site. This driveway accesses 2097 Southeastern Avenue from Dale Drive. This is the only access point for 2097 Eastern Avenue, and any future development will be required to maintain this access. Because Dale Drive is not constructed to city standards for industrial sites, and due to the congested nature of the Southeast 19th Street at the intersection of Dale Drive, the subject lot will not have access to Dale Drive. So there won't be any mini storage traffic utilizing Dale Drive, but it must stay open. The applicant is utilizing a PUD to allow the operation of an on-site septic system. And utilizing a PUD, the proposal includes the following amenities: a minimum of 15% increase in landscaping above the base landscaping requirements when the property is developed, and the Southeastern Avenue facade shall be 75% masonry and not metal. The envisioned More 2040 plan calls for this location to be transitional commerce, and the uses in that land use category include heavy commercial, light industrial, and some supporting office uses. This application was reviewed as to its conformance with the plan, and while the mini storage does not significantly contribute to any sales tax or employment base, the major surrounding areas are being utilized for heavier commercial, medium industrial uses, which are compatible with mini storage. Therefore, staff believes that this application is in compliance with the comprehensive plan, and staff recommends approval of this application. If you have any questions, I'd be happy to answer them.
So where's the detention pond?
The detention pond on this site plan is not shown. However, we have let them know that a detention area is required.
So they'll limit number of buildings, something like that, to be able to gain enough
So you
space?
can either provide surface detention or you can provide underground detention, which is something that we're seeing more of. So the underground detention could be located in the drive aisles or parking area, but that's up to the applicant when he.
Explain that to me.
The underground detention is basically vaults that are constructed underneath the ground that can hold the storm water and then slowly release it to the system. So Quick Trip,
Underground.
yes,
All
underground. Quick Trip utilizes that.
Septic type
It's just like,
thing, okay.
very similar to septic tank, yep.
That's interesting. Never heard that.
It's becoming more popular as land becomes more expensive.
Okay,
Any other
Make a motion
questions?
to approve?
second.
We have a motion and a second. Will you call the vote?
Adam Webb,
Yes.
Kathy Griffith,
Yes.
Louis Williams.
Yes.
Melissa Hunt.
Yes, item carries. Item 8, consider declaring 30 Safari Lands Second Chance Body Armor Vests as surplus and authorize their donation to the Oklahoma Association of Chiefs of Police for donation to agencies across the state of Oklahoma.
Vice Mayor and Council, our body armor for police officers is replaced every 5 years. That's the warranty from the manufacturer. And so we are fortunate here at the Moore Police Department that our city does that. Not every city in the state does that. So we have an agreement with the Oklahoma Association of Chiefs of Police where we'll sign liability waivers and get these vests in the hands of officers in the rural parts of Oklahoma that don't have that opportunity. They're not under warranty, but they still likely will stop a bullet. It's better than nothing, so we'd recommend approval.
So is
for
there
that.
any kind of refurbishment or anything that goes on with them, or we just
We,
donate them like they are?
they clean the covers and they wipe down the actual panels and give them out.
Motion to approve?
Second?
We have a motion and a second. Will you call the vote, please?
Kathy Griffith,
Yes.
Louis Williams.
Yes.
Adam Webb.
Yes.
Melissa Hunt.
Yes, item carries. Item 9, consider declaring 5 pickup trucks, more particularly described in Exhibit A, as surplus.
Vice Mayor and Council, these are old trucks from 2000 to 2008, and they have been replaced with new trucks which have been delivered. This will allow us to sell them in an auction.
Make a motion to approve?
Second?
Motion and a second. Will you call the vote?
Louis Williams.
Yes.
Adam Webb.
Yes.
Kathy Griffith,
Yes.
Melissa Hunt.
Yes, item passes. Item 10, consider authorizing the cab and chassis of unit number 91656 pothole patch truck, which was deemed surplus by the City Council on June 5th, 2023, to be repurposed for the installation of a new brine application system.
Vice Mayor and Council, the cabin chassis of this truck is still good. It's a low miles truck, but the pothole patch truck body was bad. So that one is taken off. Instead of getting a new truck for the brine application, we thought we need to repurpose this one because the truck will be used maybe 3-4 times in a year, so there's no point in buying a new truck.
Very good.
Okay, great.
Make a motion to approve?
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Will you call the vote?
Adam Webb,
Yes.
Kathy Griffith,
Yes.
Louis Williams.
Yes.
Melissa Hunt.
Yes, item passes. Item 11, consider approval of amendment number 1 in the amount of $233,800 with Freeze and Nichols for phases 2, 3, and 4 of the lead and copper rural compliance program mandated by the Environmental Protection Agency.
Vice Mayor and Council, back in January of 2021, EPA released the long-awaited lead and copper rule revisions, setting new standards aimed at removing harmful levels of lead and copper for drinking water. They then delayed the effective date of the rules until December of 21, and then compliance for submitting a plan on how you're going to approach addressing taking care of the lead and copper rule has to be submitted to the DEQ by October of 2024. We entered into an agreement with Freeze and Nichols back in January to start this process of this year. The original agreement, the initial data and assessment that we did with them has been performed and has been completed. For the city, what we did is we looked at multiple as-built plans that we had over the historical time for development of the city. We went to the county assessor's office, received information as to the data of when homes were built, because essentially anything that was built over past beyond, I want to say it's 1988, essentially would not have been built with any lead pipe or of anything that would have the lead concern. So what we really wanted to do in that first phase was we needed to develop how we could identify those areas that are potential for lead and copper and eliminate anything beyond that. And so that's what we did and accomplished in phase 1. Phase 2, now we need to go ahead and move forward with the next steps of the initial phases. And the initial phase would be to create a service line material inventory, because what the concern is the service line from the main to the house. And so what we will be getting in phase 2 of this agreement would be to develop a GIS map with service line materials, whether it's copper, lead, PVC or what. And then this will also be developed and have the private side, which is from basically beyond the meter to the house, and then also the public side, which would be basically from the meter, to the main. Also, we're going to develop a mobile app. They'll create a new mobile app to be able to update some of this data that we're looking at. People out in the, as Robert and the rest of Veolia is out in the field doing work, they'll be able to have a mobile app where, as they're making a repair to a service line or something of that nature, they'll be able to input into this mobile app so that they can update the map immediately as to what we have. And phase 3 is a field verification. This is a very important phase as they develop. We have to develop SOPs for field identification so that we can identify those areas that have a higher lead risk in those locations. And then the final phase 4 is develop communication for public outreach requirements, because a big importance of the rule is that we need to be able to create websites and have frequently asked questions. Any of the information that we have as far as your house or your house, whether your service line, it'll state what material it's made of, so that everybody has an idea. If they want to pull up and look, they can determine what their risk is. And so all of that is what's going to go into these next 3 phases. And Breeze Nichols, as I said, had put together and helped us with the information in phase 1, and we'd like to move forward. And basically, we have to move forward with this to meet our October deadline.
Sure. So then the remediation piece will happen later?
Yes, in fact, the remediation phase, EPA just met last Thursday is when they released the information. And it's a lot of information, and haven't had a chance to go through all of it at this point in time. But as I understand that municipalities and agencies will have probably 10 years to remediate any lead, is what the general outcome or idea is now. That could change as it moves forward, but right now, in Thursday's information, they had indicated that they would be looking at 10 years where a municipality would have to take care of service lines that may have high or have lead concentrations.
Yeah. So what percentage of our housing stock
Do you think has?
qualifies for concern? How about that?
Well, we went through in this first phase that we've been working on from January to now. I believe we had somewhere in the neighborhood of 13,500 or so locations that were unknown to us.
Okay.
And an unknown is considered as,
They may
the
have
probability
lead.
that they
Gotta
may have
figure
it.
it out.
Right.
So that's what these next phases that we're about to enter into, we're going to do field identifications. Part of their process is they'll gather all of the information that we have brought together from all of these different phases, and they'll provide a list of maybe 100 locations where we'll go out and dig up at this point in time and identify what the actual material is, and then maybe make assumptions as we submit to DEQ, the
have to
report, that,
Between the main and the meter and the meter to
yes,
the house also?
yes,
Okay.
yes,
All right.
yeah.
So that's a third of our, wow. Okay.
Well, hopefully as we continue moving forward, we had some unfortunate incidents that may be helpful to us in the future, or as we move forward. With several areas where we had tornadoes come through and completely wiped out older neighborhoods that probably were in that category of a high risk, and some of them. And so, we've been able to identify those areas and the homes actually at this point in time. And as we go through and locate and investigate some of those, and if most of those are, show that the service line was also replaced, because maybe they just took it from the slab up and built a new house. But we'll be able to identify if in most of those instances, the service line is newer, then we'll be able to utilize that information and do some probabilities that the likelihood is less in some of these areas. But the goal is to reduce the number of unknowns and identify.
Yeah, absolutely. Fear is the unknown.
Yeah, this phase is the easy part, actually. The next phase, when we have to implement that mitigation, that's going to get very expensive and very...
We at least know what the ramifications of the next phase could possibly look like.
Yes,
Yep.
yes.
Make a motion to approve?
Second.
Have a motion and a second. Will you call the vote, please?
Kathy Griffith,
Yes.
Louis Williams.
Yes.
Adam Webb,
Yes.
Melissa Hunt.
Yes. Item passes. Item 12, consider approving amendment number 1 in the amount of $30,000 to the agreement with Traffic Engineering Consultants, Inc. for professional transportation engineering services for additional citywide striping plans for Southwest 19th Street, Santa Fe to Eastern Avenue project, ODOT number 3580104.
recall back I think it was ODOT's fiscal year '22, we received about $325,000 from ACOG to go ahead and do restripe and do pavement marking for all of the 19th Street corridor from Santa Fe to Eastern Avenue. And we went ahead and had the plans completed and submitted those, and that's 2 miles of paving. As we submitted, the ODOT went out for contracts with companies that do pavement marking and striping. And they provided somebody got a year-long contract to do all of the ODOT projects that come up. And as a result of that, the price of the, or the cost of the paving and striping was reduced significantly. And so we now, with that same $325,000 and 100% paid by ACOG and ODOT, we now can pave an additional 5 to 6 miles of road within the city, and they're allowing us to revise the project to a citywide project instead of just the 19th Street corridor. And although they're allowing us to do that, they do still want plans, and that's what the cost of this is for the plans that they want to see. Because many times we just call the contractor that does that and say, we want you to go from A to B.
Okay.
But we're required to have the plan, so we're spending $30,000 to get an additional, well, actually, it's about 3 times more of road miles that we're gonna get than what we originally got.
That's great.
Nice.
Great.
Excellent. Motion to approve.
Second?
A motion and a second. We call the vote, please.
Louis Williams.
Yes.
Adam Webb.
Yes.
Kathy Griffith.
Yes.
Melissa Hunt.
Yes. Item passes. Item 13, consider awarding bid number 2024-004 to Silver Star Construction in the amount of $932,200 as the lowest, most responsible bidder for the South Bryant and Southeast 4th Street drainage improvement, and approve the contract for the same.
On October 4th, we received 6 bids for this particular project on South Bryant and Southeast 4th Street, which is a combination of sliding Bryan Avenue over to the west just a little bit to give us more room to work on the channel and make channel improvements on both sides, from 4th Street to probably about 1,000 feet or so. North. Yeah, to the north, yeah. If you've driven through there, you can see where the road has started to erode, where the erosion has caused to deteriorate the road on some of the sections. So this will take care of that project, or that improvement that's needed. We did receive 6 bids. The lowest bid that we received was, the bids were in the range of $782,000 to $1.196 million. The lowest bidder with the $782,000, we are not recommending awarding to that low bid. When we requested, well, first of all, his bid tabulation sheet had multiple errors in it. Even after correcting the errors, because you go by the actual unit price that's written, it didn't change the low bidder, but there were several mistakes. And then, so we requested references, because we had never heard of this company before. We're not familiar with them. And they provided a couple of references. One, they had provided a reference of an employee that they had listed with the City of Moore, when in fact that employee had never worked for the City of Moore. And also an ODOT employee, when we checked with them, they did not, there was no record of that gentleman that had worked for ODOT. And then also, one of the cities that we checked with, the City of Altus, when we checked on a sidewalk project that they were doing, they the city did not give them a good reference, said that they have had a lot of problems with the quality of the work and so forth. And so, based on that information, we're recommending that we go with the second low bid, which is the lowest, best responsive bidder, and that happens to be Silver Star Construction in the amount of $932,200, and we would recommend you award the contract.
Thank you for being so diligent on
Good job.
checking that,
Thanks for
those
checking
references
into
and
it.
stuff.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Motion and second. Will you call the vote, please?
Adam Webb,
Yes.
Kathy Griffith,
Yes.
Louis Williams,
Yes.
Melissa Hunt.
Yes, item passes. Item 14, consider approval of the 2022 Consolidated Annual Performance and Evaluation Report and adopt resolution number 7123, submitting said report to the U.S. Department of Housing and Urban Development.
Vice Mayor and Council, this is the annual report that is submitted to HUD at the end of each program year. This report is for the 2022 program year, which started October 1st of 2022 and ended September of 23. The amount of funds awarded this year was $338,776. There was also $205,652 of CDBG COVID funding still available during this program year. The projects funded were home-delivered meals for seniors, counseling for sexually abused children, youth counseling, forensic interviews for children, fair housing services, substance abuse counseling. We reconstructed the parking lot for the Moore Food and Resource Center with COVID funding, and we completed construction of a pickleball court at Kiwanis Park. The total number of residents that benefited from both the entitlement and COVID funding was 1,686. A total of $37,755.63 was left over and will be rolled into next year's infrastructure project.
Make a motion to approve.
Second.
A motion and second. Will you call the vote?
Kathy Griffith,
Yes.
Louis Williams,
Yes.
Adam Webb,
Yes.
Melissa Hunt.
Yes. We will now recess the State Council meeting and convene the Moore Public Works Authority meeting. Item 15 is a consent doc. Item A, receive and approve the minutes of the regular Moore Public Works Authority meeting held November 20, 2023. Item B, approve and ratify claims and expenditures for FY 2023-2024 in the amount of $558,851.41.
Motion to approve.
Second.
A motion and a second. Will you call the vote?
Louis Williams,
Yes.
Adam Webb,
Yes.
Kathy Griffith,
Yes.
Melissa Hunt.
Yes. Item 16, consider approval of option 024-31332 from Midwest Employers Casualty Company for the city's excess workers' compensation insurance policy with an annual premium of $152,444 for the total of $304,888 for 2 years with Tom Beckham with the Beckham Company as agent.
Vice Mayor and Council, this is the renewal of our excess workers' comp insurance policy. This year, we were given two options. One of the options is a 2-year an automatic renewal at the end of the first year, which we are recommending that option. One, it locks in the rate for this year, and as you know, the rates are going up, so if we could get something locked in for an additional year, that would be beneficial to us. Like I said, the rates for the two options are going to be the same for the first year as it is for the second year. The annual premium will be $152,444. And Tom Beckman is here, and if there's any questions, he's here to help answer any questions.
Make a motion to approve.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Will you call the vote?
Louis Williams,
Yes.
Adam Webb,
Yes.
Kathy Griffith,
Yes.
Melissa Hunt.
Yes. Item passes. We'll now recess the Moore Public Works Authority meeting and convene the Moore Risk Management meeting. Item 17 is a consent docket. Item A, accept the minutes of the regular Moore Risk Management meeting held November 20th, 2023. Item B, approve and ratify claims and expenditures for FY 2023-2024 in the amount of $286,205.04.
Motion to approve.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Will you call the vote?
Adam Webb,
Yes.
Kathy Griffith,
Yes.
Louis Williams,
Yes.
Melissa Hunt.
Yes. Now, we will now recess the Moore Risk Management meeting and reconvene the city council meeting. Item 18 is new business. Item A is citizens forums for items not on the agenda. We do not have anybody signed up. Was there anybody that would like to speak? Item B, items from city council or trustees.
I did have the opportunity to go to the Christmas tree lighting and all those festivities. I was blown away at how many people
Great. I'm
attended.
sad to miss
It was
it.
very cool. It was very
Yeah.
cool, yep.
Great.
Thank you, Sue, and the whole team for
Yeah.
putting that together.
Absolutely.
Great. Item C is items from the city manager, trust manager.
I just also would like to thank Sue and Todd and Greg and Galen for all their hard work this past weekend to make the city event Friday night, the spectacular, a successful event, and then the Christmas parade Saturday, a successful event. So thank
Great.
you.
Thank you, everyone.
Good job.
Item 19 is adjournment.
So move.
Second?
A motion and a second. Will you call the vote?
Kathy Griffith,
Yes.
Louis Williams.
Yes.
Adam Webb.
Yes.
Melissa Hunt.
Yes, we're now adjourned.